Twitch. That's right. What's up? All right.
One play.
What is going on, everybody? How are y'all doing? We are live. L, the people's champ, said they better have voice chat. That's what I'm talking about. But we have some dope Nintendo news you can use wrapped up in one epic video. But before we get started, I need every single person watching this stream, like, thumbs up. Let's double the like count right now. Appreciate y'all dudes hanging out. If you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you got your notifications on so you get in the top 5 in the Noti gang. Oli says he's hooked on Splatoon 1 again. They opened back up the Splatoon 1 servers. That's dope. I've been looking for my Wii U. I don't know where I put my Wii U at, bro. Moving in the new house. But let's do the top 5 in the chat. Then let's talk about this news. Number 1, Techie Demigod. Number 2, Kenny. Number 3, Lake Show. Number 4, Jack. And number 5, Neil. What's up, everybody? I thought I saw Bowser type. Got caught lacking. Noti again, caught lacking. What's up, everybody in the chat? All right. We're going to talk about this article talking about the Nintendo Switch 2 features. But first, I want to do something before we do that. Check out this fan-made concept of the Nintendo Switch 2. And they're saying that this is very reminiscent of an Apple product launch, but it's a 3D concept of a Nintendo Switch 2. This isn't the Nintendo Switch features we're talking about, but this will roll right into it as we talk about the features for the Switch 2. But adaptive tension triggers, I'm not really big on. Wait, no, let me take it back. The PS5 DualSense, those adaptive triggers are pretty dope. So if and let me give a shout out to who did this video. Ben Geskin. All right, but the interface, we need a clean. I appreciate the current Switch's interface because it's simple. It does what we need to do. Get right to the games, and that's what I want. I don't want to have to scroll through. The company that has the worst user interface still is Xbox. I haven't been on my Xbox in a while. But last time I was on, and so much stuff, bro. I feel like I was being spammed with ads, but there weren't ads. It was just cluttered everywhere. I don't know if they streamlined it since, but I just want to, I'm turning on my video game system to play video games. Not to look at TVs, not to look at what's the latest movie to watch. No, just to play games. All right, the new interface is nice, Oli. All right, I gotta crank up my Xbox One X. That's the last. I did not get an Xbox this generation. All right, but check out this user interface is clean. I want that streamlined interface. Let me pause it real quick right at a certain point. First, adaptive triggers with the tension, that would be dope. Large electromagnet joysticks. What's up, Joshua? Say what's up to the chat, Joshua.
Hi.
All right. Joy-Con microphone. 3.7 gigahertz. Isn't the Switch like 1 gigahertz or something like that? I don't know. 4.8 teraflops. If the Switch 2 is 4.8 teraflops, GG, no re. The Xbox Series S, I think, is 4 teraflops. So this will be more powerful than the Xbox Series S. It'll be future-proof for this generation. We'll get all the third-party games, or most of the big third-party games, and we'll be lit, brother. And most importantly, the games will look good. I'm still so hyped of that leak of someone who saw a Metroid Prime 4 running and they were blown away. They said the game looks unbelievable. And I believe it because Retro Studios, their pedigree of quality Prime games, when the original Metroid Prime came out, it was leaps and bounds better than anything else out on the market right now. So I thought this was pretty dope. The Switch 2 concept art video, but let's talk about the features for the Nintendo Switch 2. This article is titled 5 Features the Nintendo Switch 2 Needs to Keep Its Gaming Crown. And some of these features, pretty dope. Some of these features, like, whatever. The first one, a significantly updated, this is from mirror.co.uk, a significantly updated processor. A significantly updated processor. Let me see what they say, and then I'm going to share my thoughts. The original Nintendo Switch, all right, I accept the cookies. All these ads and stuff. All right. Nintendo Switch launched back in 2017, bro. 2017. Shout out to everybody coming into the stream. We're at 22 likes. 8 people give the stream a thumbs up. Let's get it past 30 likes. With an ARM4 Cortex A57 CPU. This chip was already outdated on the release of the first console. So just imagine in 2017 when the Switch launched, it was already outdated. Why? Because Nintendo goes for cheaper parts. That's why coming out with the power for Xbox Series S, system came out 2 years ago, Xbox Series S, and it'll still be good for Nintendo. All right. Nintendo has consistently done a great job of utilizing specific art styles that aren't too demanding of the hardware within the Nintendo Switch, making for beautiful games. And that's a fact. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Even though I'm a little tired of the cel-shaded art style, but Tears of the Kingdom still looks good. I still appreciate how that game looks. Games like Pikmin 4 that just dropped looks beautiful. So Nintendo knows how to maximize their art style, maximize their hardware. The article says, however, it limits the capabilities of what can be produced. That's right. More realistic games, like a new Assassin's Creed game, it would really look struggle running on the current Switch. So I see that. All right. Having a significant updated processor would allow for Nintendo Switch 2 games to be more graphically intensive. This would also mean access to more third-party titles without feeling like you're at a disadvantage. Yeah, I can play Fortnite on my Nintendo Switch at 20 frames per second, he says. But why on earth would I? Hey, that's a fact. If there's a multi-plat third-party games, you're like, should I get the Switch version? Should I get the PlayStation version? Or should I get the Xbox version? And a lot of times, a lot of gamers get the other versions of the game. You can hear my son crying in the background. It is what it is. But, and not just the graphical fidelity. For me, it's been also things like achievements. If there's a game that looks on par on all 3 platforms, I tend to, I already got all these trophies on my PS5. I get the PS5 version. I want Nintendo to come out with some kind of reward system that's tied to your account, where it's not just individual games, tied to your account where you can go and look at your gaming history. So, Odie said Fortnite on Switch is bad. I play Fortnite on Switch. I still play it. No, I haven't played it in a minute, but I would play Fortnite on the Switch. So a significantly updated processor as the first feature, and I agree. That's the first thing we have to see with the Switch 2. We have to see a noticeable difference between what came out in 2017 and what Nintendo's going to give us. If the rumors are saying 2024, bro, that's 7 years. We got to see a difference. The second feature, I'm not really big on my list. A Nintendo Switch 2 OLED at launch. The latest leak that we have is that the Switch 2 is going to launch with an LCD screen, which I'm cool with. The OG Switch launching with the LCD screen, it still looked good. My biggest thing is the processing power. Don't get me wrong. The OLED does pop out. The games look beautiful. Pikmin 4 looks beautiful on the Switch OLED. But that isn't, if Nintendo's going to balance price versus power, and if they're going to cut back power in order to give us an OLED screen, no. I would rather more powerful console and an LCD screen than a less powerful console and an OLED screen. So if Nintendo's going to balance the two, which they will, because Nintendo's very price conscious, I'm leaning towards give me an LCD screen. It looks good. If you still have an OG Switch that's not a OLED, you know that the games still look good on the handheld. I'll very much prefer power. So they're saying that there's been reports suggesting that the Switch 2 will launch with an LCD screen, the same as the current Switch. While I can understand why this may cause upset from other Nintendo fans, I actually think it's a great thing, as it allows for the base model of the new console to be significantly cheaper and then give those who want to pick up the OLED the option to do so. However, I want there to be a Nintendo Switch 2 OLED to be available on launch rather than coming out years later. Many, myself included, picked up an original Switch 2 at launch and then a Switch OLED, leaving us with two. All right. Now, I hate to burst this guy's bubble. Nintendo's not going to do that. Nintendo's not going to confuse their market base. They did that with the Wii U. And if you notice, like a month or two after the Wii U launch, they discontinued the white model of the Wii U. And Nintendo just had one SKU. Nintendo's not going to want to confuse parents trying to get this new system. There's going to be just one SKU at launch. Mark my words. He wants a Switch, regular Switch 2, and a Switch 2 OLED at launch. Two reasons why Nintendo's not going to do that. One, they're not going to confuse their market. And two, Nintendo wants you to double dip. You're going to get that LCD Switch 2. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to love it. And then 2 years later, 2026, there's going to be a Switch 2 OLED. That's what rinse and repeat. Nintendo does that every generation, especially with their handheld devices. They update the screen in some fashion. I remember with the DS, they came out with the DS Lite, where the screen was brighter. With the 3DS XL, a larger screen. And so some kind of improvement on the screen will happen with the Switch 2, but it's not going to be at launch. There's going to be one SKU, and then Nintendo's going to make you buy another Switch. All right, the third feature, and I have to wholeheartedly agree with this. Hopefully I have an OLED TV before that happens, about it. Backwards compatibility. Let me see what he says, and I'm going to share my thoughts. If the Nintendo Switch 2 doesn't have backwards compatibility, I'm not buying it. Simple as that. That's what this author is saying. Nah, bro. Backwards compatibility is not a deal breaker for me. Whatever the Switch 2 is, I'll buy it. So, if backwards compatibility, he's saying, like, if I can't play my Switch library, it's going to be a huge bummer for me, but it's not a deal breaker. Even if the Nintendo Switch 2 launches with a range of exclusive titles, if it isn't backwards compatible with my current Nintendo Switch gallery, what on earth is the point? What do we want on is the point? Get you Nintendo games, bro. But I get what he's saying. I spend a lot of time and money buying games for my Nintendo Switch, and I feel like I should still be able to play these on the next generation of console instead of having to keep both. Luckily, it seems like the Nintendo president has suggested that there will be a smooth transition to Nintendo Switch 2 in terms of backwards compatibility. Global President Shuntaro Furukawa, he's already come out and said the Nintendo accounts will transfer over to the Switch 2, and that left many with the impression that backwards compatibility will in fact be a thing. PS5 did it. Xbox Series did it. Nintendo there would be a rage like never before on the internet if the Switch 2 launches and you have to start from scratch. Now, on one end, I can see Nintendo like, just keep your current Switch. And a lot of gamers are like, okay, then I just keep my current Switch and I buy a Switch 2. I think having backwards compatibility would actually help sales because it's another plus, another feature for gamers to be like, you know what, I still get all my library. I'm gonna get the Switch 2. So I don't think it will hurt Nintendo one bit. I said this before, I'll say it again. For the first 2 years of the Switch 2, all games are going to be able to play on both consoles. They'll just look better and run better on the Switch 2. Just like PS5 did. First 2 years, Miles Morales, you can play it on the PS4 or PS5. And then eventually transition fully to your next gen console. Just so you don't burn your consumer base. 130 million people currently have a Switch. So Nintendo would be crazy to just leave that consumer base behind. Kiki says you would love an OLED TV. I have an LG OLED C3 and I love it. People can say that now, but if it's not backwards compatible, they still gonna buy. Hey, that's facts. Hey, Chris, people are still gonna buy a Switch 2. Wait till that Super Smash Brothers, the next Super Smash Brothers game drop. I don't know what well, it's gonna be easy for this next Smash game because if the processing power is a significant difference, that's going to be a major selling point, how much better the Smash game looks. Every generation, there's been a great improvement in the graphical quality of Super Smash Bros. Except for Wii U and Switch Smash, in my opinion, it's really the same game. It's the same game with new characters and new features. But from Nintendo 64 to Melee, big difference. From Melee to Brawl, big difference. From Brawl to Ultimate, big graphical difference. And whenever the next Smash game comes out, that's not going to be a launch title because that's going to be a title that's going to sell units on its own separately years down. But we're going to see a graphical improvement, and that's going to cause gamers to buy it. All right, the fourth feature, better quality Joy-Cons. And I agree, Nintendo started the whole HD Rumble where it's not just standard Rumble, but it's nuanced to like the left side of your controller or the lower part based on what's happening on the screen. Sony took it, copied it, and improved on it with the DualSense. Fantastic controller. It's time for Nintendo to one-up them again and have those Joy-Cons with HD Rumble with something new and fresh, more precise Rumble, more nuanced to like if Mario's tiptoeing, you feel the light pitter-patter on the Joy-Cons, something like that. And it's almost guaranteed there's going to be some kind of Joy-Con 2.0, Pro Controller 2.0, something. Every generation, one of Nintendo's ace in the hole is their controller. From the PlayStation 1 to the PlayStation 5, pretty much the same controller. Literally, from the Xbox One to the Xbox Series consoles, it's virtually the same controller with the D-pad changed. Everything else is exactly the same. Every generation, Nintendo's controllers are completely different. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason to what Nintendo does with their controllers. Matter of fact, this Pro Controller is probably the most conservative Nintendo's ever been with their controller design. NES, staple. The Super Nintendo, shoulder buttons. The NES started the whole D-pad. Super Nintendo, shoulder buttons. Nintendo 64, analog stick for the very first time. The very first time we had analog sticks in gaming was Nintendo 64. Having Mario tiptoe in 3D, you had to be there. We just take that for granted. But coming from 2D to that, it was so mind-blowing. The Nintendo 64 to the GameCube, one of the greatest controllers of all time. What else can I say? GameCube to the Wii, motion gyro sensor, we still use it to the day. Wii to the Wii U, the screen, touchscreen. So Nintendo innovates every generation something completely different with the controller. With the Switch 2, you could almost guarantee there's going to be something completely different with the controller. And number 5, I completely disagree with this feature. Further video app support. I don't think I've ever used YouTube. I'll probably use YouTube once on my Switch. I don't care about Netflix. Does the Switch even have Hulu? I think it probably does have Hulu. I do not care about video apps on my gaming console. Everybody has a smart device, smartphone. Do that on your smartphone. Matter of fact, sometimes I'm in bed and I have my Switch and I have my phone. I'm watching something below on my screen. I prefer to do both at the same time. I do not want my gaming console to be inundated with video apps. And Nintendo doesn't want to do that. There's a reason why there's no Netflix on the Switch. Why? Because it takes away from your gaming time, and Nintendo wants you to buy actual games on their gaming system. They don't want you to turn on your Switch and watch a video. They want you to turn on the Switch, go to the eShop, and spend money. That's why that's why it's a video game console. And so the fifth feature, further video app support, 2 thumbs down. They can have 0 video app support. I don't care if there's no YouTube, no Netflix, no nothing concerning watching videos on the Switch 2. Games. That's why I buy my system. All right, what you guys are saying? So I thought this article was pretty dope. Talks about some of the features coming to the Switch 2. Joker says it's going to be called the Wii U 2. All right, chat. What is your number one most feature you would want on the Switch? Type it in the chat now. I'm gonna type it. What is your number one most wanted feature for Switch 2? Now, and I'm gonna tell you this. More power, that's a given. That's not a feature for me. That's a given. It's gonna be more powerful. But if you wanted a feature that you wanted on the Switch 2, what would it be? Party chat and messaging is up there, Drip God. That is something I think Nintendo needs to have, bro. Voice chat, you're right, L. Just being able to, you shouldn't have to go on a separate device to voice chat. You shouldn't have to use Discord. You should be able to just voice chat with anybody you want. So voice chat is one. A big one for me is still achievements. I still want achievements on my Switch. Number one feature is the return of the squishy ZL-ZR buttons, Bowsette. If you're talking about like GameCube, I'm telling you, GameCube is really the one that innovated with the pressure sensitive. Bro, playing Luigi's Mansion for the first time on the GameCube, and the more you pulled down on the trigger, the more intense the vacuum suction would be. That was so dope. So I'm with you on that. That would be fire. That would be fire. I want to trash talk on 2K. Hey, I do miss like just listening to your opponent's trash talk. That'd be lit, bro. It'd be entertaining for me. But there's a lot of room for improvement as far as features are concerned for the Switch 2. And hopefully Nintendo has more RAM on the system where we can have features like voice chat standard on the system level, not on each game development level. Because you can voice chat on the current Switch, but it's up to the developer to put it in their game. And they'd have to take away from the RAM and such from the game to let it happen. It needs to be on the system level. So, achievements, themes, music in the eShop. Bro, I don't even realize it. We take it for granted that there's no music in the eShop. Wii U music was lit. The elevator music, that was pretty dope. What's up, everybody coming into the chat? We're at 33 likes. 7 people give the stream a thumbs up. Let's pass 40 likes. More crossplay. And again, Neil, now more crossplay, that's going to be on the developer level. That's never going to be up to Nintendo, PlayStation, or Xbox. That's going to be, but I get it. Like 2K. I love playing NBA 2K. Next, 2K24 is going to be crossplay on PS5 and Xbox Series. That would have been lit for the Nintendo Switch to be able to have crossplay with the other consoles. Nintendo would be at a severe disadvantage because the frame rate is slower. But if the Switch 2 has the leaked specs that it's supposed to have, it'll be good because it'll be 60 frames per second. The resolution may be lower, 1080p versus 2K or 4K, but that's fine. It's the frame rate that really puts you at a big disadvantage. So Jack says 60 frames per second, better online quality messaging. Bring the Mii's back into mainstream too. Hey, Mii's are late, bro. I still like my Mii. I found this article be interesting, talking about the features of the Switch 2. This is it for this stream. I'm going to be heading out. But what do you guys think? Sound off in the comment section below. What features do you want on the Switch 2? I want to know. But before you go, bro, click that subscribe button. Stay up to date. All things Nintendo. We out, boy. Peace. Outro.
This channel that I'm about to throw out there for you guys reminds me of me back when I had like 4,000, 5,000 subscribers, man. And he's probably gonna lose shit when I do this, but hey, man, I gotta say, my boy Obi-Wan, man, that nigga is my nigga right there. He reminds me exactly of me when I was doing this shit at a smaller level. His channel, when I look at it, it's such a nostalgia trip, and he has a really cool audience too. Man, if you could show this nigga some love too, that'd be awesome. I don't shout people out unless I like them. A lot. I'm picky with that. Anyways, my boy Obi-Wan, your boy Obi-Wan. Hey man, I got you right here, my boy. Get that man a little bit of a look, man. He reminds me of me when I was smaller. You want to take a look in the past, my boy? This is the way you do it.
I got you, Jedi Master. The Jedi Master. I got you, man. You're playing 2 times.
Thank you.
I got
Obi-Wan,
you,
man.
homie.
I'm dedicating a workout set to you, boy. Let's go, guys.
24, 25, 26, 27, 28. He said hating on the edge.